Hey, I'm Rin. Welcome to my channel. So we'll be building Bronya today because, well, it seems that you guys want... Oh, maybe I should have waited a little longer for the poll. I promise, guys, Bronya was taking the lead the last time I checked it. I'll make a castress video later on. Time to look up information about sorcerers, I guess. But sticking with this video, we'll be building Bronya today. I hope you guys like the video either way. Some little things we know about Bronya. She's the adopted daughter of Cocolia and the current Supreme Guardian of Belobog and Commander of the Silvermane Guards. She's got a high status and holds a high standards to herself and those she trusts the most. There's a lot more I can say about her, but let's move on to what we're actually here for. I had a little issue in figuring out what was the best build for Bronya, and a lot of the stats and build for her is a little unconventional, in the sense that I needed to try a very different tactic in building her and writing a story than I do normally. In other words, I'll make it very clear for you all. Don't get the wrong idea about it, by the way, but I don't think this build can fit into every D&D game out there. Unless you tell your DM about it, or you're very close to your DM where they will allow such a build into their campaign. It messes with the fantasy aspect of the D&D world, and a lot of the build is based off of Unearthed Arcana, which is very much banned in many D&D games for many reasons. And also, in other words, I gave Bronya a gun. So yeah, that's also another issue. I'm really sorry for this, by the way, but it was the best build I can make for a character like Bronya in the D&D world. But if you can find a way to compromise with your DM at some point, or you are allowed these kind of builds in their game, you guys can stick around for what I've cooked up and tell me what you think about it. This whole series was made to entertain you guys, so I really hope it hasn't ruined your experience for it. Thank you all for supporting me here, and I'm really happy to see that this channel is growing so much. I'll try my best next time to make a character that's a little less banned, I guess. Let's move on then. Here's Bronya Ran. So I don't need to explain this too much in detail, but let's lay out the basis of the build for Bronya. We'll need to figure out her race, class, ability scores, background feats, languages and proficiencies, her equipment, and then we can write a story to fit her into a D&D world. As I've said before though, she's not the most conventional character when it comes to D&D, but the basic parts of her are still pretty much in that reality. For the most part. For race, I went with something that is very grounded for a character like her. Even though she's a Supreme Guardian and the Silvermane Guard Commander, she's still a very normal and down-to-earth character. Unlike the other planets we visited, Yarilo 6 is very Earth-like in nature, if not a bit messed up because of the Stellaron crisis that happened there. So I went with the most simple and easy-to-pick race that is ordinary but strong, that is fully capable of anything that comes in its way, that is known to be resilient, able to combat against powerful enemies and wars. I picked human. Now don't laugh, let me explain this. To be fair, I went with the human variant, specifically because it gives pretty good stats compared to the all-rounder of the basic human. You get a special feat as well, which is needed to build Bronya, and some skill proficiencies that shove straight into dexterity and intelligence. It's good, I promise, it's good. Moving on though, for her class, I wanted to go with Paladin at first, but it stopped making sense the longer I tried to build her, and I didn't really have the push I think I needed to make it actually seem like Bronya. So I backtracked completely and decided to go with the second most loyal class in the roster, that being Fighter. Specifically Sharpshooter with the superior technique fighting style. It's mainly to give her access to the ability Commander Strike, which lets you use your bonus action to direct another person to attack so long as they're in range of hearing your order. Similar to her skill. Pretty proud of that. Additionally, as a sharpshooter you get abilities like steady aim. You ignore half and 3/4 cover, and you get additional damage equal to 2 plus half your fighter level. You can use that feature 3 times in total until your next short or long rest. You also get Careful Eyes, which lets you pick up on your enemies with ease, and use the search action as a bonus action instead. You also get some fun proficiencies, which I'll get to later on in the video. For ability scores, the highest should be her dexterity, then intelligence, and then strength. Next is your constitution, charisma, and then wisdom is the lowest stat. Next is the background, which I picked to be noble, specifically the knight variant, which makes sense with what we know about Bronya's childhood. She was adopted by Cocolia and was raised to become the next leader of Belobog. So it makes sense to me to give her that kind of background, especially with the knight variant existing. For feats, I picked out 2 for her, the first being Gunner to give her proficiencies in firearms mainly, but it also raises her dexterity stats a lot and allows her to lose any disadvantages with enemies that are close in range. The other feat I gave her is Tandem Tactician, which makes the help action on her overpowered, pretty much giving you the ability to aid allies attacking a creature by giving them advantage. You can do it with 2 people attacking at the same enemy with this feat, 10 feet away from you. This is why Unearthed Arcana is banned, isn't it? But for languages and proficiencies, I picked Elvish and Primordial. Why? Because of her high class training and because of Cocolia's connection to the Stellaron. I might not know much about the Stellaron, but I decided to flavor it where it speaks Primordial in D&D. Because elements, I guess. Proficiency-wise, I picked the ones that I thought would make sense for Supreme Guardian to have, as well as someone who spent a long time hunting us down for our supposed crimes. Those being investigation, perception, insight, and survival. So pretty much the ones that were given out for careful eyes. Anyway though, moving on to equipment, I would recommend giving her a hunting rifle, but if firearms are completely banned in your campaign, I would give her a crossbow instead. A heavy crossbow to be precise, so long as your DM allows this character to enter their game for one reason or another. You might also need to bribe your DM with stacks if they allow this character into their campaign, especially since it's built off of Unearthed Arcana. Don't look into it too much, I promise it's not that bad. But now that all that is done, time to move on to the backstory that I wrote for Bronya. I'll try to stick closely to the story that we already know about Bronya, while changing a few details a little to fit her as a D&D character. The ending will be shifted a little bit so that it allows her to join a D&D party in the first place. So I'll put it that way. I hope you guys don't mind it, and I hope you all enjoy this video. Here's what I have for her. The great and powerful guardian of the city, a strong-willed and benevolent woman, who was the successor of a generation of powerful leaders, who shaped the land with their determination and fervor. In that sense, that was the reason why she expected such great things from the daughter of hers, a quiet girl who may be a bit too emotional for her own good. She was a gentle soul who only ever wanted to earn the pride and love of her mother, a little girl who had talents in sharpshooting and an unbreakable will. She was adopted from a sickly orphanage at the edge of the city, the one lucky girl who the Guardian found favorable because of her genuine heart and bright eyes. She was a quick learner, which brought her good fortune under the care of the Guardian. Her mother told her she was meant to do great things in the future, that she will be the one to make the city a better place as their leader. But all the training and tutelage she received could never prepare her for the day she would find her mother standing at the foot of the mountain at the far north corner of their city, staring up towards the snowy peak with a blank look in her eyes. She called to her, but her mother did not respond. She seemed to be speaking with someone she cannot see, speaking in a language she only learnt much later on. It was calling to her, promising her the power to chase away the evils that plagued their world, to defeat the monster that would threaten their people. She watched her hands turn blue, as if they were becoming frozen from the ice at the top of the mountain. She looked towards her daughter, and the young woman began to back away from her. Something was wrong. The look in her mother's eyes was no longer filled with wisdom and nurture, but was replaced with a manic state that should have never belonged to her. She ran from the foot of the mountain that day, desperately trying to search for someone to help her, but it seemed as if no one would listen to the claims she had made. The Madam Guardian was all right. She was just feeling stressed that day. She was fine. She hasn't acted any different from how she usually is. That was what everyone kept telling her, and yet she cannot ignore the fact that her mother had changed from then on. She became more paranoid, more quick to temper. People began to disappear throughout the city. Politicians who spoke badly about the Supreme Guardian. Soldiers who made minor infractions. She was no longer the strong and fair ruler the little girl used to idolize. She was no longer the good mother she once knew. She needed to do something, she knew that, but she knew she couldn't do it alone. Sneaking out in the middle of the night, the young lady who was once meant to become the successor of the great guardian of their city disappeared in search of those who would be willing to stand by her side. With only her weapon and a name, she promised to return to the city once she has found the people she needed. She'll make right by her city again. That is what a true guardian is meant to do. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the story. There are some things I wish I could change about this build, but I don't think I know enough to figure out how to do it. Changing the Unearthed Arcana to better builds and such, but then again I am quite happy with what I have here as well. Yes, it's not the best build out there with a lot of issues, but I quite like what I have here as well, in its own way. I promise that the Casters video is coming next, and I'll try not to jump the gun when I make polls next time. How did this even happen? But anyway, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you like, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.